No, I know.
Hi, my name is Marito. I was the charts and audio guy on both versions of Guitar Hero 2 Deluxe. I have my own series of Guitar Hero 2 custom discs I've been working on called marfGH. And of course, I am the guy who put together Guitar Hero Rocks the 360. Because I knew that this disc was going to be a little bit more official feeling than my own personal discs, I wanted to put together a new intro video, which was done entirely in the Guitar Hero 2 engine, and I figured I would do a little behind-the-scenes feature of how I put that together. Pretty early on, I knew that I wanted to use Famous Last Words by My Chemical Romance, which of course you can play on this disc, and it got me thinking of how I would be able to put together something cinematic, something kind of music video-like in the Guitar Hero 2 engine, and I came up with two big ways that I managed to pull it off. One of them is by using the free camera mode, of course, that comes with the debug executable, and the other one is literally toying with the way that the game picks venue camera shots. To start off with the easier of the two, if you're using the debug executables, which we use this extensively all the time to check why the game is crashing on our custom code, or there's a bunch of really lovely debug kind of functionality, we're able to blow past songs, we're able to change the crowd meter or turn it off entirely, and also there's easy access to the free camera. Of course, I used that a little bit for some of the fancier kind of shots in the intro, like when I was spinning around the band members and stuff. But I really didn't want to rely on it too much because it's a little bit clunky. There was a bunch of debug spew at the top of the screen when you turn it on, which I couldn't quite get rid of, but I was able to, with the way that I cropped it, hide it at least. But also, trying to move around is a pain in the ass. The right stick is actually what moves you in the world, and then the left stick controls your viewpoint. So it's very, very clunky to get these kinds of spinning shots, and I had to redo the drummer a whole bunch of times, but it's a nice thing that adds flavor. That brings us to the more technically involved thing I did, and actually, believe it or not, the easier one of the two, which was to hijack the way that the game picks venue camera angles. The way that the game normally will pick angles in the venue while you're playing is that it'll wait every 2 to 3 measures, and then it'll have a gigantic list of camera categories. So there's, for example, it's not like Rock Band where you can focus on the bassist or focus on the drummer. It's very much just angles of the venue. So for example, you can have close to the stage left, close to the stage right, far from the stage left, far from the stage right, balcony left, balcony right, close up on the guitarist, very, very close up on the guitarist, like the neck-mounted views or right up against the body of the guitar. And the game will filter these based on certain criteria. For example, the marker event that you're in. If you're in a chorus or if you're in a solo, sometimes you'll get these angles, sometimes you won't. But it's very, very automated. There's not a whole ton you can do to change angles on the fly. So if you don't know, Guitar Hero 2, the way that it stores its chart files is in MIDI format. They're just plain old MIDI. There's nothing special about them. And that's kind of the genius thing about them, because a MIDI is a computerized representation of music. For example, if the tempo ramps up, you can represent that in MIDI. Or if somebody's playing the snare drum harder, you can represent that with velocity. Once you have tempo mapped to your chart, you have a perfect way to sync digital data to an audio track. So the ticket into authoring camera angles is through a script in the game called MIDI parsers, midiparsers.dta. And MIDI parsers is unbelievably powerful because it allows me to set a pitch in the MIDI, which track on the MIDI it's in, and then run code based on every time the game reads a pitch on that track. So what I did was I set the game to check for a variable. Every time it goes to check for a camera angle, it checks for a variable, which I called extra cam, for extra camera control. And I have 2 pitches in the MIDI on the triggers track, which will set extra cam to true or set it to false. So I can turn on the camera control and turn it back off in the same chart, and I don't need to author angles for the entire chart. And then there's, I want to say maybe 15, 16 pitches above that for For example, the lighter shot, which is a far shot from the band perspective, looking out on the crowd. Normally you get this when the crowd puts their lighters up, but sometimes I like the shot just on its own. I use that in the very beginning of the trailer when you see the camera panning across the crowd. That's the lighter shot. There's stuff for, like I said, solo near, solo far. The lose camera, which is kind of a spiral shot above the guitarist when you obviously fail the song. I have the intro camera, the Encore intro camera, which in that wide shot of the Grim Reaper in the Harmonix Arena, that's what you see in the back. I literally just drop a note on that specific pitch in the MIDI, and there you go. It'll switch to that shot. So it was as simple as taking the song and authoring camera angles for when I wanted specific shots, and then capturing the entire thing and gluing it all together in a video editor. And I'm super proud of how it came out. I really am. And that's all I have to say about it. And if you're interested in knowing more about what I do with Guitar Hero 2, you can check out my website at merito.somnolescent.net. You'll find all my charts, you'll find tutorials, all sorts of stuff. And of course, links to all of my discs if you want to play more. That's all I have to say. So like I said, thanks for listening, thanks for playing, and I will have more for you soon.